Panjanja bashupa mama, panjanja bashupa mama, panjanja bashupa mama, panjanja bashupa mama. Wajinga neva mulebeda, lufuna lolo sendera. Wajinga neva chibangu muno, lufuna lolo sendera. Wajinga neva angala, lufuna lolo sendera. Wajinga neva karisha, lufuna lolo sendera. Oh mama, lufuna lolo sendera. Oh mama, lufuna lolo sendera. Panjanja bashupa. Panjanja bashupa mama, panjanja bashupa mama, panjanja bashupa mama, panjanja bashupa mama. Wajinga neva waluka, lufuna lolo sendera. Wajinga neva waluka, lufuna lolo sendera. Oh mama, lufuna lolo sendera. Oh mama, lufuna lolo sendera. Waka wapile mulemena twajijira nebiboro. Waka wapile chibangu twajijira nebiboro. Waka wapile angala twajijira nebiboro. Waka wapile karisha twajijira nebiboro. Oh mama twajijira nebiboro. Oh mama twajijira nebiboro. Waka wapile waluka twajijira nebiboro. Waka wapile waluka twajijira nebiboro. Oh mama twajijira nebiboro. Oh mama twajijira nebiboro. Mwaka uka kwa wafreji, mwaka uka kwa wafreji, mwaka uka kwa wafreji, mwaka uka kwa wafreji. Tukamuda baulia wabo, tukabige kumitwe yabo. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wafreji baya. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wafreji baya. Mwaka uka kwa wajebi, mwaka uka kwa wajebi, mwaka uka kwa wajebi, mwaka uka kwa wajebi. Tukamula baulia wabo, tukabige kumitwe yabo. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wajebi baya. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wajebi baya. Mwaka uka kwa wajaji, mwaka uka kwa wajaji, mwaka uka kwa wajaji, mwaka uka kwa wajaji. Tukamula baulia wabo, tukabige kumitwe yabo. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wajaji baya. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wajaji baya. Mwaka uka kwa wageni, mwaka uka kwa wageni. Tukamula baulia wabo, tukabige kumitwe yabo. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wageni baya. Tukatampano kuchiramba, yo 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 wageni baya. mwagauka kwa washumba, mwagauka kwa washumba, mwagauka kwa washumba. Tukakula maulia wao, tukakekukikwe hapo, tukatampano kujiramba, yoyoyo washumba baya, tukatampano kujiramba, yoyoyo washumba baya. Mwagauka kwa Kamilo, mwagauka kwa Kamilo. Tukatampano kujiramba, yoyoyo Kamilo aya, tukatampano kujiramba, yoyoyo Kamilo aya. Oh, coach. Angalia Bashumba, wachingane wakulemela, wachingane wachiwangu, wachingane wakarwisha, angala, wachingane wagwaruka, waseja. Wow. Kangasa, 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 kangasa. Umfuata umfuata, maolia ni bani. Umfuata umfuata, maolia ni bani. Bano bene umfa, takwa bana bambi umfa. Bano bene umfa, takwa bana bambi. Telako, ah. Pache pache tuisambenga, 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 mama pache pache tuisambenga, pache pache tuisambenga, pache pache tuisambenga, pache pache tuisambenga, pache pache. Let go. Ah. Soshani witina, soshani witina, wacherwa witina. Twila malimba mama, tuwalange, tuwalange go, tuwalange, tuwalange go, tuwalange, 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 tuwalange go, tuwalange, 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 tuwalange go, tuwalange go, tuwalange go.
Welcome to Bonano TV. This is our debut show as a broadcasting company incorporated in Lusaka, Zambia. I am Dr. Kasonso from the United States. That's where I'm broadcasting from. The world today is mourning the death of the Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom at the age of 96. She was a towering figure in human history who lived through the 20th and 21st century, and she met 5 popes, more than 12 presidents of the United States, and appointed at least 14 United Kingdom prime ministers. She's a symbol of dignity and stability for the British people. And quite frankly, I don't know anybody who doesn't respect the Queen. Uh, so we mourn with the British people this weekend and here on TV Bonano. And I know that most of my friends wanted to watch the Premier League and they couldn't do that because the matches have been called off. Well, there's a time for everything, my friends. There's a time to mourn and a time to celebrate and enjoy our games. Well, this Saturday segment on Bonano TV is going to be called One on One with Dr. Kasonso, and we're going to be talking about the current issues in business and finance with a focus on the Republic of Zambia. And I am the Dr. Kasonso. I'm going to be the expert to discuss the financial things and terms that are going on. And since I am a member of various organizations and I also have a job outside of my broadcasting endeavors, I may have to begin with putting in a disclaimer that the views and ideas I express here are mine, and I don't speak to represent any organization apart from Bonano TV. Yeah, and yeah, so please share the discussion with your friends. It's the first one of all the shows that we're going to show, and they're going to be teething problems because we are learning the tricks of the trade. But we are going to bring substantive wisdom and expert positions and knowledge and expressions. So we are on Facebook, and you may also subscribe to our channel on YouTube as well. We can be seen there. So now, to begin with, here on Bonano TV, we monitored the performance of the kwacha, that's the Zambian currency, and at the close of the business week, which was Friday night, the US dollar to the kwacha was buying at 15 kwacha 15 ngwe and selling at 15 kwacha 55 ngwe. The British pound was buying at 17 kwacha 97 ngwe and selling at 18 ngwe and 18 kwacha and 3 ngwe. The euro was buying at 15 kwacha 59 ngwe and selling at 15 kwacha 65 ngwe. The South African rand was buying at 88 ngwe, was selling at was buying at 88 ngwe and selling at 90 ngwe. Clearly, we can see that the kwacha is performing better than the rand in this segment now. We have to tell you here that since the beginning of this year, we have had the kwacha posting small gains and appreciated marginally above the rates obtaining week by week and month by month. And since the 22nd of January to today, we have seen the kwacha constantly and all the time marginally appreciating. So today, with these incremental gains reaching 18.5% growth rate against major convertible currencies, the kwacha is the best performing currency in the world. Apparently, there's something great that is going on at the Bank of Zambia and in the general movement of the commerce in and out of Zambia under the new Dawn administration. On One-on-One with Dr. Kasonso, we are launching a series of shows to discuss the business prospects of the Zambian economy, the business prospects of the Zambian economy in the post-IMF deal. My host, my subsequent host, will be introduced in due course. And today, I am going to be the discussion lead as well as the host. So what we're going to do today is I am going to generally characterize the issues, create a foundation for this series of shows, that on which we're going to discuss the business prospects of the Zambian economy in the post-IMF deal. We know that Zambia has signed an IMF deal where Zambia is going to get financial assistance in form of low-cost bonds that to prop up the Zambian economy as they work to tackle the mountain of debt that was accumulated over the last 10 years or so. And then we're going to discuss the business prospects and what is going on in this series of shows. And today I'm going to lay a foundation for that. I will be the resident financial expert here on Bonano TV, and many other great people will be joining me from time to time. Today, I am going to lay a foundation for the subsequent programs by discussing factors that impact the performance of a currency, and I will evaluate which of these factors have specifically helped Zambia to improve the performance of its currency from being the worst performing currency in the world to the best in the world in less than 2 years. And please share this discussion with your friends and on Facebook and subscribe to Bonano TV if you have not. And we are live also on YouTube. Yeah, so I have a friend of mine here, Martha, and I'm gonna have to ask Martha to greet you. Hello, Martha. Hello, Martha.
I'm delighted.
Okay. We have a technology
Hello, Doc.
issue here.
Professor
Right,
Kasonso
Martha.
saying I'm delighted to be here.
Martha.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
let me put Martha back in the background. I'll bring her back. I'll bring her back later. Yeah. So yeah. So to begin with, it is very important for people in the country to understand what goes into the value of the currency and what the improvement in the currency is all about, and why those improvements in the currency are either helpful or in cases where they don't actually help. Yeah, so we're going to start with that as we lay a foundation for a series of topics and discussing the business prospects for the Republic, for the Zambian economy in the post-IMF deal. Yeah. So factors affecting the exchange rate. So I will discuss it from the perspective of the general issues that go into that. And then I will also apply those factors to what is going on in Zambia right now. Yeah. So what's the first factor? Here, the first factor is inflation. Inflation is a rate at which prices are rising in the country. Inflation is also the relative purchasing power of a currency compared to other currencies. For example, um, it might cost 1 unit of a currency to buy an apple in one country, but cost 1,000 units of a different currency to buy the same apple in a currency with a higher rate of inflation. Such differentials in inflation, the foundation why different currencies have different purchasing powers and have different currency rates. As such, countries with a high or with a low inflation rate typically have a stronger currency compared to those with a higher inflation rates. So now, vis-a-vis inflation rate, how does the efforts the government of Zambia has made, or specifically the Bank of Zambia, have been making in relation to the rate of inflation affected the the um, the exchange rate? We know that there was a time when the monetary policy team at the Bank of Zambia met, and they increased the points. And we will discuss that at the end of the show towards how they applied policy towards reducing the rate of inflation, and how that is a significant and major factor why the kwacha is performing well. Well, the second issue or factor is the interest rates. Interest rates are tightly tied to inflation and exchange rates. Different countries' central banks use interest rates to modulate inflation within the country. For example, establishing higher interest rates affects foreign capital, which bolsters the local currency rates. However, if these rates remain too high or for too long, inflation can start to creep up, resulting in the devalued currency. As such, the central bankers must consistently adjust interest rates to balance the benefits and drawbacks. So the performance of the currency has got something to do with exchange rates, sorry, the interest rates. And the interest rates, the way the central bank is adjusting interest rates, has got something to do with also affecting inflation and the exchange rate. So if the interest rates remain too high, the currency has to be devalued in due course. So what is the other factor? The third factor is the public debt. Most countries finance their budgets using large-scale deficit financing. In other words, they borrow to finance economic growth. And if this government debt outpaces economic growth, it can drive up inflation by deterring foreign investments from entering the country, and two factors that can devalue a currency. In some cases, a government might print money to finance debt, which can also drive up the rate of inflation. So the rate at which the government is contracting debt, normally debt must be contracted to match the level of economic growth. And economic growth, we are talking about the capacity of a country to produce the goods and to create opportunities within itself. Yeah. So, but if we are borrowing, whether locally or abroad, at the rate higher than the economic growth, then that will impact the currency negatively. So we see that historically in the last 7 or so years in the Republic of Zambia, the currency was everywhere because of the rate at which we were contracting public debt not being at the same level with the economic growth that is going on in the country. So in other words, you are just outrightly living beyond your means, and you're wrecking up the economy. The fourth factor is called political instability. A politically stable country attracts more foreign investments, which helps prop up the currency rate. The opposite is also true. Poor political stability devalues a currency exchange rate. Political stability also affects a local currency economic drivers and political policy, financial policies, two things that can have a long-term effect on the currency exchange rate. So what is this point about? The way we are doing our political dance in the country, what we are doing in our politics have an effect on the economy. For example, a country can be stable politically, but if there are players who want to do what I call monkey tricks, to foment an artificial crisis in the country, political crisis, that does have an effect on the currency and the perceptions on business. Yeah. Number 5 is economic health. Economic health or performance is another way exchange rates are determined. For example, a country with low unemployment rates means its citizens have more money to spend, which helps establish a more robust economy with a stronger economy. The country attracts more foreign investment in that case, and in turn helps lower inflation and drive up the country's currency exchange rate. And it is worth noting here that economic health is more of a catch-all term that encompasses multiple other drivers like interest rates, inflation, and the balance of trade. So the health of the economy, the currency, the strength of the currency is also reflected by the health of the economy, or the health of the economy reflects on the performance of the currency. Now, we mentioned the new term here called the balance of trade, which is number 6. The balance of trade, or terms of trade, is a relative difference between a country's imports and exports. For example, if a country has a positive balance of trade, it means that its exports exceed its imports. And in such a case, the inflow of foreign currency is higher than the outflow. When this happens, a country's foreign exchange reserves grow, helping it lower interest rates, which stimulates economic growth and bolsters the local currency exchange rate. And this is the one that we must seriously ask ourselves in the Zambia. Okay, our currency has improved. What is the situation between our exports and our imports? Have our exports exceeded imports? Has the national income improved at a rate better or higher than what we okay? So the balance of trade. So I'm curious, especially that in the years prior to 2022, Zambia has, maybe in the last 8 years, Zambia has been a net import country. So how are we doing in this department? Is the appreciation of the kwacha as a result of an improved export position? If that's not the case, then we will find problems as we go along. Where? Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about number 7. The current account deficit. The current account deficit is closely related to the balance of trade as well. In this scenario, a country's balance of trade is compared to those of its trading partners. If the country's current account deficit is higher than its trading partners, this can weaken its currency and relative to that country's currency. As such, countries that have positive or low current account deficits tend to have a stronger currency than those with higher deficits. Yeah, so we compare the current account deficit position with our primary trading partners. We have to ask ourselves a question in Zambia: how are we doing compared to our trading partners? Okay. So our trading partners. So okay. Yeah. Then the other thing that we have to look at is uh, the confidence and speculation. Sometimes currencies are affected by the confidence or lack of confidence thereof. Traders have in the currency. Changes from speculation tend to be irrational, abrupt, and short-lived. For example, traders may devalue a currency based on an election outcome, uh, especially if the result is perceived as unfavorable for trade or economic growth in other cases. And traders may be uh, bullish actually on a currency because of economic news, which may buoy the currency, even if the economic news itself did not affect the currency fundamentals. And finally, I need to mention this one because it's very important. Government intervention. What is government intervention? Governments have a collection of tools at their disposal through which they can manipulate their a local exchange rate. Primarily, the central banks are known to adjust interest rates, buy foreign currency, influence currency lending rates, print money, and use other tools to modulate the currency exchange rate. Do I have someone here? I have someone. Okay, I'll bring in my friend shortly. The primary objective of manipulating these factors is to ensure favorable conditions for a stable currency exchange, cheaper credit, more jobs, and more economic growth. So those are the 9 factors. Now, our job as a country is to try and understand, both from the expert point of view and layman point of view, which of those 9 factors are really responsible for the improvements that we've seen in the currency exchange rate in the Republic of Zambia. Let me try to bring in my friend, and she has a question or a contribution to make. Hello, Martha. Oh, she still can. Okay, okay. Let me try to see what I can do here. For some reason, I am not able to bring in my friend here. Let me try to also click on another friend of mine. I can try to bring him in. Hello, Derek.
Hi, Jones.
Try to bring both of them. Derek and Martha. Hello.
Yeah, the line is bad.
Okay. Let's see. Hello, Martha. Hello, Derek. I can't hear you, Martha and Derek. So anyway, I am gonna try to. Um, okay, let me see what I can do. Okay, I'll take Martha back to the background. Okay. Yeah. So I was trying to explain in general terms uh, the factors that explain the performance of the currency in the country in general. Now, specifically for Zambia, what are we doing? What are these factors that are going on? Okay. First of all, in terms of our politics in the country, the change of government was a positive development. The change of government was a positive development. Yeah, and the perceptions of the new government in the global economy has been a positive factor, factor for Zambia. And then the things that are really key for Zambia are 3 from that list of 9. Um, what could be Zambia's secret in shining in economic areas where almost all countries in the world are struggling? Um, we have to be upfront and say that a raft of both monetary and fiscal measures that have been taken by the government um, have sat at the center of this development of an improved currency. When the government's monetary policy committee met last November, it decided to raise the monetary policy rate by 50% point basis to 9%. That rate remains unchanged till now. So there is stability in terms of the rate at which they maintained that. The ultimate goal was to reduce inflation to about 6 to 7% by mid-2023, and the decline in inflation has been achieved when it met this year in May 2022. So that is a major factor of stability and improvement in the currency. Now, the government also took steps to support agriculture and livestock. The government also removed the 5% customs duty on the importation of cattle and chicken breeding. The rate rise of food prices fell by 12%, and in July by 11.3% in August, 11.3%. So the challenges still remain in the mining sector, which contributes 10% to the country's GDP. But on the speculation issue, the major score that has positively affected the performance of the currency over time is the restructuring of Zambia's debt. An agreement with the IMF, International Monetary Fund restructure date, has been reached, and a bailout package has been actually concluded. And you know, when there has been a positive development towards this, the speculation factors have worked in the favor of the country, and also impacted upon the performance of the currency. The IMF board approved a $1.3 billion for a 38-month loan to Zambia. And you know, I listen to because economics and politics are intertwined, and I listen to political pundits and political detractors try to downplay this achievement for the country, and try to compare this bond to acquiring a domestic debt. They are two different things, obviously. And the country trades in the market of other nations in the global economy. And because the country does that, we have a way in which this war chest of money works in our favor to help support the restructuring of the acquired debt, the debt that has been acquired by the Republic of Zambia in the last 10 years. So that's what is happening with the currency. So I'll pick it up with my friends in the next show to discuss the business prospects in the Zambian economy in the post-IMF deal. And I hope you've been able to pick up some useful information from my presentation today. It's the first one. I'll come back again. Thank you. Bye.